Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Marincess Yugioh deck profile for post Chaos Impact. Wanted to do an update to the Marincess deck. We received a whole lot of new support for the deck as a whole from the new set, including new link monsters, new effect monsters. That definitely do help just to get out the stronger link monsters that we have for the deck, and also just set up a bunch of different other water plays we can do with the new traps and spells as well for the deck. I definitely do like the direction the deck is taking. I think we'll just get more support from here for the deck as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, for the monsters, I run 3 Marincess Seahorse. With this one, you can special summon this card from your hand to a zone a Marincess Link monster points to. You can only special summon Marincess Seahorse once per turn this way, and during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon 1 water monster from your hand to your zone a Marincess Link monster points to. You can only use this effect of Marincess Seahorse once per turn. So this card has great setup just because you have a lot of other different cards in the deck that focus on then obviously special summoning themselves when something special summons to a Marincess arrow on the field. So definitely want to run 3 of this card. It's just very useful for that easy special summon, so then you can obviously go into your bigger link monsters and have different effects as well. I'm only substituting the Marincess Crown Tail for now, which we also received from the new set for the support until I get my 3rd Seahorse, but good substitute as well if you're looking for other cards to sub in until you get your Seahorses also. Also want to run 3 Marincess Blue Tang. Was only able to get 1 of this card, so for the sub for this one I'm using Marincess Sea Star, but probably one of the best effect monsters we have in the deck. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send 1 Marincess monster from your deck to the graveyard except Marincess Blue Tang. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for the link summon of a water monster, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you do, add 1 excavated Marincess card to your hand. Also shuffle the rest into your deck. You can only use each effect of Blue Tang once per turn. So this card just has amazing setup, whether it be for your graveyard for some of your other Marincess monsters, which we'll get to in just a sec, and also just being able to add more cards when it's used for the main mechanic of the deck, which is obviously link summoning into your Marincess monsters for your bigger plays. So you definitely need 3 of this card for the deck as well, just to make that happen more consistently for your plays. The Sea Star just helps with the attack boost, so I wouldn't normally run her in the deck, otherwise she doesn't really help for the setup, but like I said, another good substitute until you do get the Blue Tangs for the deck. And I also run 3 Marincess Mandarin, one of the easier cards to pull in the pack. If you control 2 or more Marincess monsters while this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target 1 water link monster you control, special summon this card to zone that monster points to, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect of Marincess Mandarin once per turn, but you have the option for obviously setting up this card with Blue Tang, and then obviously saying obviously a lot, basically summoning this card out, and then it does get banished, but you have 3 of it in the deck, which you can then just keep setting up with Blue Tang for more and more plays, and then obviously using your Seahorse for the summon from your hand onto the field. But Mandarin, just as a setup in the graveyard, definitely does come in handy for that easy special summon. It's a once per turn effect, but still very, very simple to set up. And for a little added backup for the deck, I decided to run the Frog Engine like I did before. It's just so consistent with the deck. You can discard 1 water monster to special summon this card, and Swap Frog has the other fact that I can set up and send some of your other frogs to the graveyard. Plus, it also gives us the option to run Totally Awesome in the deck. So 3 Swap Frog for the main focus of the Frog Engine in the deck. The other ones being 2 Ronin Totem and 2 Dupe Frog, just for the protection with a Dupe Frog, and then the search when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard. Ronin Totem, just an easy special summon from the graveyard by banishing a 1 frog monster from your graveyard. So you have Dupe Frog and Swap Frog for those options, but I figured just 2 Dupe Frog and 2 Ronin Totem was fine for the numbers compared to Swap Frog, which is your most important one. It's just an easy special summon just by discarding a water monster, which is the main focus of the deck. For a little added support for the discard for the water monsters, I run 3 Sea Archiver. If a monster is normal or special summoned to a zone Link monster points to, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your graveyard if it was there when the summon resolved, or a hand even if not, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect of Sea Archiver once per turn. So setting it up in the graveyard, if you already have Ronin Totem set up and you have some other options for the send, you can also send it to the graveyard with Swap Frog for that summon, and then special summon it back later from the graveyard with that play. Also searchable with Sign at Mining, since it is a Cyberse card, if you need that option for the search. And I also run, to finish off the monsters, just 3 Ash Blossom. You can try Effect Veiler, Ghost Ogre. This is just my preferred main deck choice for the hand trap lineup for Ash Blossom. Just being able to stop a lot of your opponent's initial setup, whether it be sending in the graveyard or searching to their hand. And that's it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 Sign at Mining. You send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard to add 1 level 4 or lower Cyberse monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate 1 Sign at Mining per turn, but it gives you options for all your Marincess monsters, especially Blue Tang, which is the one I normally go for the search the most. You can also search Sea Archiver if you already have the other ones set up for your plays, but you definitely need to run 3 of this card for the easy search. If you don't have Sign at Mining, or if you're missing a few of them, you can substitute in Sign at Backdoor, which banishes and then searches a Cyberse monster, so definitely useful still, but Sign at Mining just a little more consistent, since you don't lose the monster like you would with Sign at Backdoor until next turn. And then for the Marincess spells, I run 1 Marincess Battle Ocean. All Marincess monsters you control gain 200 attack. Also, each one gains 600 attack for each Marincess card equipped to it. Monsters you control in the extra monster zone that were link summoned using Marincess Crystal Heart as material are unaffected by your opponent's card effects. And when you link summon a Marincess monster to the extra monster zone, except during the damage step, you can equip up to 3 Marincess Link monsters with different card names from your graveyard to that link summon monster. So just more options with this card. I only run 1 Battle Ocean. I feel it's all you need, and it's searchable with Marincess Sea Angel, so you can rely on this to search out the card to your hand when need be, so you don't have to rely on drawing it. But that setup can definitely get you a big boss monster on the field with all the equips you can do as well. And then for a few of the other one-ofs for the spells, 1 Foolish Burial and 1 Monster Reborn. Just more special summoning. This one definitely does come in handy for the setup with Sea Archiver to the Link Zone. And Foolish Burial sets up Ronin Totem or Sea Archiver in the graveyard to use also. And also I run 3 Call by the Grave, just good hand trap to stop your opponent's monsters in the graveyard from resolving, just so you can keep your plays going as well by stopping their hand traps, and basically just an option to sit on when you're going up against your opponent and their main key play. And that is it for these spells. We'll now move on to the traps. I run 3 Marincess Wave. If you control a Marincess Link monster, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, negate that face-up monster's effect until the end of this turn. Then if you control a Link 2 or higher Marincess monster, all face-up monsters you currently control are unaffected by your opponent's cards effects until the end of this turn. If you control a Link 3 or higher Marincess monster, you can activate this card from your hand. The fact that you can activate it from your hand is very easy to set up a Marincess Link 3 monster on the field. Definitely does come in handy if you have multiples of this card. Just being able to completely shut down your opponent's monster effects. I definitely see good potential in this card later on, just for the Marincess defense you can do with this deck, along with Call by the Grave. So I'd say it's a definite 3 of for sure. And I also run 2 Marincess Snow. If a Marincess Link monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, target 1 of those monsters. Special summon 1 Marincess Link monster from your extra deck with a lower link than that monster. This is treated as a link summon, is unaffected by your opponent's card effects, and while you control it, you can only activate 1 Marincess Snow per turn. Just an option to get lower link monsters, so you can obviously go to Blue Slug if you have Coral and Enemy on the field, or Marbled Rock into Coral and Enemy, just different, cards to special summon out depending on the link you have. Since we can go all the way up also to Link 4, Wonder Heart in this deck, you have plenty of monsters to special summon out using Marincess Snow. And I also run 1 Marincess Cascade. Banish any number of Marincess Link monsters you control until your next standby phase, then target 1 face-up monster on the field. It gains attack equal to the total link ratings of the monsters banished. To activate this card, times 300 until the end of this turn. If you control a Link 3 or higher Marincess monster, you can activate this card from your hand. Just another power boost. If you already use the Marincess Links for an attack, it can be just an extra boost for this card for another one you have on the field. I only run the 1 though. Once again, it's another searchable target with Marincess Sea Angel if you already have the field spell set up. So just those options to search is the main reason I only run the 1. And then for the rest of the traps, just the 3 Solemn Strike, just a good option for the counter traps in the deck to stop your opponent's special summon or monster effects, along with the other cards we run in the deck, like Marincess Wave and Call by the Grave. And that's it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I run 3 Marincess Blue Slug, your Link 1 monster that you go into for most of your plays. If this card is Link Summon, you can target 1 Marincess monster in your graveyard except Blue Slug, add it to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except water monsters. You can only Link Summon Marincess Blue Slug once per turn. So if you have your Seahorse set up, you can obviously Link Summon with just Seahorse into Blue Slug, have Blue Slug on the field, and then special summon Seahorse using this card. If you have any other cards set up in the graveyard, like Sea Archiver, that's another additional card on the field, all just using 1 card and then having the rest of the setup in your graveyard. So this one for the setup, and it doesn't really limit you at all with the water monsters, since that's the majority of what we run in the extra deck. I also have the 1 Marincess Coral Anemone, but with this one, if you want to run more, I'll show what card you can take out for an additional spot for this. But with this, you can target 1 water monster with 1500 or less attack in your graveyard, special summon it to a zone this card points to. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except water monsters. And if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 Marincess card in your graveyard except Coral Anemone, add to your hand. You can use each effect of Coral Anemone once per turn. So the search, the special summon, it all just helps out to go to your bigger Link monsters and the recycle for later plays as well. Like I said, I'll show what card if you want to run a second copy of Coral Anemone in the deck, but I also run 2 Marincess Marbled Rock. You can target 1 Marincess card in your graveyard except Marbled Rock, add to your hand. You can use this effect of Marbled Rock once per turn, and when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can send 1 Marincess monster from your hand to the graveyard for that battle. Monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, you take no battle damage. I love the arrows for this card, but that recycle power, just like I said with Coral Anemone, definitely does come in handy, and being one of your bigger boss monsters also helps for this deck and its setup. And I also run the 1 Marincess Sea Angel. This is just if this card's Link Summon, you can add 1 Marincess spell from your deck to your hand. You can only Link Summon 1 Marincess Sea Angel once per turn. This is to add the field spell to your hand, so you have that setup with this card using Battle Ocean. The Link Arrow, I always try to make it in the main monster zone after I use Guppy, because you can summon Blue Slug, Special Seahorse, and then before you go for the Link 2, summon out Sea Angel to have your Surge. It's really the only copy you need in the deck as well. And then for the boss monster, the 1 Marincess Wonderheart. Once per turn during damage calc, if this card battles in a monster, quick effect, you can special summon 1 of your Marincess monsters equipped to this card. Also, that monster cannot be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage from that battle. And that special summon monster and this card during the end phase. And if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can special summon 1 Link 3 or lower Marincess from your graveyard. So you can go for Marbled Rock, but this card definitely does help with the power-up options for the equip. And also just to combo well with Marincess Crystal Heart, which we also run the 1 of for the setup. You can barely make out, it's just so shiny, of this card in the deck. Just for more setup, just needing 2 water monsters protecting your Marincess in the main monster zone as well with this card, and unaffected by your opponent's monster effects. And during the damage step, if it battles an opponent's monster, that monster is unaffected by card effects except its own. And when this card in your Link monster, this card points to a starter for an attack, you can send 1 Marincess from your hand to the graveyard. For that battle, your monster cannot be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage. So the best way to protect your cards, obviously, with Crystal Heart as well on the field. I also run the 2 Mistar Boy, just power buff for your water monsters. If you wanted to run a second Coral Anemone, you can take out 1 of the Mistar Boy or one of the next Link monsters, which are Nightmare Unicorn, Nightmare Phoenix, and Borreload. Since you are limited for a lot of the plays for the water monsters, you can try and swap out one of these 3 for the second Coral Anemone, or if you want a third one, take out 2 of the slots. Or you can even add in a second Totally Awesome. I'm running the 1 in here, but if you want to try out 2, these last 3 spots can be taken up by any number of additional Totally Awesome you want to run, and the additional Coral Anemone as well, to run a fully water extra deck. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, we've got plenty more coming up from Chaos Impact, so look forward to it. Until then, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.